everything's gone overseas.
Yes.
And I used to complain. I used to write to Washington and say, the mills are gone. People, and that's what's happened. They wonder why the kids are in trouble. They've got no jobs to work. Summers, like the kids, well, you remember the kids in Bethel, because that was our really busiest time.
Yeah, they used to hire quite a few summer helpers. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we used to work overtime. And when my husband died and I had to go to Social Security, he made $5 more than me. That's all I got, $5 on my Social Security, because he had bad time. The place he went to work was Herman Shoe. That was heavy work. He loved that. Almeda Courier, she helped me. She and I worked together, and she was a very sedate lady. And the girls would play scat during break. They got Almeda playing scat, and we used to get the biggest kick out of that. And when we'd work overtime, Mr. Searle would say to Almeda, well, can you work overtime? I'm sure your Annette's husband will take you home. So we did. We always took Almeda home, because that was late at night.
Now, did Henry Trustlow, was he the guy that was running the mill back in those days? Henry Trustlow?
Oh, yes.
And Francis Spencer, was he there too?
Yes, I remember Mr. Trustlow. He was a very quiet man. And I think that's what they named that center in Saco, Trustlow Center. Yes. Well, Mike, Lois's husband's brother, went over there. They go to a couple of times a week and have their lunch and stay. And then there was Henry Trustlow, and then I remember Mr. Miller from the South. Oh, he was very outgoing. He used to call me Blondie because I had white hair, and he was friendly with everybody. You know, he was a nice man.
Craig Miller?
Huh?
Was his name Craig? Craig Miller?
No, that was Craig Miller. Okay, that was Craig Miller. No, what was his name? Anyway, this man, Southern. He was a Southerner, and he was so different because he was a tall man. Craig Miller was one of the workers.
Mm-hmm. Had a red nose.
Oh, okay, he was a nice man.
Yes.
And I see a Craig Miller in Portland, in the station, the TV station. I often wondered if that was his son, Craig Miller. But what was his name? Anyway, this man was from the South, and he was. But he always, and he was walked the streets during lunchtime too, and he talked to everybody. Yeah, most of my friends are gone.
Were you there when Kennedy was shot?
What?
When Kennedy was shot, were you working at the mill?
1961. When John F. Kennedy was shot.
Oh.
Did you work at the mill?
Oh, yeah, I was working, yeah.
What was that day like?
Yeah, well, I don't know. It's bad time.
Do you remember any other historical things that happened while you were at the mill?
I remember, well, what I can remember when I was in Sokolowell. When I went in, I got 1933. I think we got $10 a week. But the minute Roosevelt came in, like that, he went up to $1 an hour.
Wow.
And that really fixed the economy. The economy, when everybody was working, every place.
That was during the war?
Oh, that was in, 1933. Yeah, well, probably before,
Roosevelt?
Well,
What were those times like
Bad.
around the war?
Bad,
Like how?
bad. Now,
No, what? Tell me how.
it was bad. It was bad. We had nothing, you know. And people were like now, you know, 'cause we didn't seem to be so many because this is one thing people don't understand. You had the mills, you had the shoe shop. When the shoe shop was down, the mill was good. When the mill was down, the shoe shop was good. People always did pretty good because I think because the mills, a lot of the people came from Canada, and the Canadians are fussy and they're smart. They were smart. Then the different nationalities came in. We had 3 Catholic churches, now we got 1. And I went to a Catholic school, and I was thinking the other day, they said, did you get along with people? I can remember the kids, they were Irish, French, Polish, Italian, Portuguese. They were all singing the Irish songs and dancing the Irish jigs. You know, and people got along with each other because we were all in the same mess. And I know my mother's people came from Prince Edward Island. They were Irish. I don't know whether they came over during the potato famine. So they came from Prince Edward Island here. They were poor. You tell people that and they look at you. They were.
Right.
Well, my mother's sister, she was older than my mother. She graduated from high school in those days. My mother went to high school and her shoes didn't match. And the kids made fun of her. And my mother was very Irish. She came downtown, went to work in the mill, and she lived with her sister, one of her sisters. Yeah, she wouldn't do that. She wouldn't, even in those days. But she made up her mind that we were going to school. And I've been around a long time. And my mother loved the mill. They used to have Bates, because Bates and Lewiston had Lois's herd. They made a bedspread. Well, my mother could get me one for $25 because I think they charged $50. I said, no, I don't want one. And I never wanted one, but my cousins and all her friends wanted them. And that was a big seller at Bates in Lewiston.
Was that the one that was all lace work?
Yeah.
Yeah. Queen Anne or something like that? Do you remember that?
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
I saw that. What a piece of work.
Yeah, oh yeah. And that tablecloth on my table, that material came from Pebble. I bought that. Oh, I bought all the time. And my kids all made all things. I made my kids skirts and myself things.
From the Velux?
No. Oh no, from cotton. See that? I think that all came from the South.
Okay.
I think that, and then they made the comforters.
Yeah.
And one of my cousins, she was a cutter. She cut. Oh, we were up there in I think that was 1604, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, and we were up. The office went up there. All of a sudden, we're moving. Then we moved back, and then one time we were down in an office across from the Pastimes skating rink, bowling alley. We'd go over there at noontime and bring our lunch, and then cross the street and go back.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that office. It had a fireplace.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Anything else to finish?
No. Can you
Anything
think
else
of
you want to
anything,
say?
Lloyd? No?
No.
She probably heard these things 50 times.
So that's it?
Right, that's
Yep.
good.
I know a couple of my son-in-laws worked in Pepple, but they really didn't care too much for it. One of them, when he got finished that summer, Lloyd,
Yeah.
he took his clothes and put them in a big barrel and burned them. Then they got married. He worked in Pep. He was in someplace in Maine in the service, and then he met my daughter, and he lived at my sister's, and they got married, and they live in Michigan.